Welcome back to my channel, Steel Town Menace fans. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. I am back and will be doing videos as much as possible and trying to start a podcast as soon as possible. So without further delay, I have a quick question for all of you, Americans and people around the world. What do you think Nikki Haley was trying to convey with her participation and appearance on Saturday Night Live 11 days ago, February 3rd, 2024? In the opening skit, there was some commentary by Saturday Night Live actor portraying Donald Trump, and he referred to a movie line, The Sixth Sense, I see dead people. His statement didn't bother me. It was Nikki Haley's answer that got me thinking. But you let me know in the comments below after you watch this quick clip.
I see dead people.
Yeah, that's what voters will say if they see you and Joe on the ballot.
Oh, that's not very nice, Nikki.
My thought, as I watched this video, was one of very much concern. Why do you ask? Well, because I feel there might be a possible deeper meaning in that so-called satire and lame-ass joke they presented on Saturday Night Live. I found it to be very dark, mean, telling, whatever you want to call it. What do you think their next move may be against both candidates, Donald Trump and Joe Biden? Her comments got me thinking about it. See, by using comedy as a deflection of their true intent, they can hide the truth in plain sight for all of us to ponder, wonder, conspiracy theorize, which shows you just how stupid they think the average listener is in this world and how the average person is in America and everywhere else. See, I grew up in a Generation X, last of the feral children, last of the kids going outside, pretty much and playing till the streetlights come on because we weren't allowed back in the house. See, we're from a different era than yours today. You know, these kids that are sheltered, booster seated, helmet wearing, participation trophy receiving, sexually confused because they don't know if they have a hole or a pole, that society seems to be producing now from our lowest education to the highest education in this country. Now, I do have hope for it because I was just at a Trump rally recently here in Conway, South Carolina, and there was a lot of college students there rooting for Donald Trump. Gives me hope for the future. Makes me very proud. See, our generation was taught to think for themselves, use common sense, critical thinking skills to discern fact from fiction, which allowed us to spot any irregularities in people's conversations and the bullshit someone tried to push onto us. See, we called them out, okay? We called them lies. And we realized it was nothing but propaganda that they kept trying to use pretty much against us, change our mind, put us in a cult if you'd like, because there's a lot of left-leaning people that are so in a cult that it hurts them to think about anything, okay, other than what they've already been programmed to think. My 5th grade social studies teacher, Mr. Robert Lee, taught us all about this propaganda back in, I don't see, somewhere in the early 1980s. And he taught us about a man who damn near perfected it. His name was Paul Joseph Goebbels. If you don't know who Paul Joseph Goebbels is, watch this little clip and then do your own research. I believe you'll figure it out.
Joseph Goebbels, the Minister of Propaganda. He knew exactly how to manipulate the minds of a nation with fake news, Nazi-idealized books, and propaganda films. Goebbels was single-handedly responsible for brainwashing entire populations and destroying people who were caught in his web of lies.
Our generation also had those very crazy, pesky conspiracy theories. Now, they go all the way back pretty much to the beginning of time, but the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s to the present make us wonder what is real or what is a facade. Makes us ponder things even more than the average Jane or Joe. You have the moon landing.
Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
You have the shuttle explosions.
So the 25th Space Shuttle mission is now on the way after more delays than NASA cares to count. this morning that looked as though they were not going to be able to get off.
In the 80s, you have the assassinations of 4 gentlemen in the 60s.
Not a Pax Americana enforced on the world by American weapons of war. I am talking about genuine peace, the kind of peace that makes life on earth worth living.
People in power have misused it, and now there has to be a change, and a better world has to be built.
Bombs in Vietnam exploded home. They destroyed the dream and possibility for a decent America.
Cannot continue to deny and postpone the demands of our own people while spending billions in the name of freedom elsewhere around the globe.
You also have the Twin Tower attack in 1993. And the destruction of those towers on September 11, 2001. There's many questions about every single one of these actions. There are way too many to mention today, which makes the kid in me, who is now a grown man, look back and see more factual evidence and conspiracy plot lines in the mainstream talking points. See, they vilify and destroy anyone who gets or goes against their narratives. You will question it. They will target you. They used to just unalive high-profile people. See, low-profile people, you're just a statistic. An accident can happen. You know, ask the governor's son-in-law down in Georgia. Oh, you can't ask him. Why? Because his car mysteriously blew up when he was investigating the irregularities in the Georgia's election in 2020. Was it a message? Something sent to them to tell him to shut up? But see, they got way better at doing these things lately, okay, over the last few decades. That's what's more effective than deletion. It's called character assassination. I watched them do it to Nixon, Reagan, both Bushes, Clinton, Obama, and now Donald Trump. Even Joe Biden gets his, but some of it Joe earned because Joe ain't there and he can't help himself. But see, today you know it better. There's new terminology, a new definition. It's called cancellation. Ask Tucker Carlson, who was fired from Fox News, Russell Brand, who's been branded about allegations that were made from 20 years ago. You have people like, what's his name? Andrew Tate, who also has some other issues. You have Julian Assange, who's a reporter and investigator who's locked up in England now for God knows how long, because he was reporting on things and placing it online for everyone to see. Then you have people like Edward Snowden, who leaked information from the National Security Agency to let the government, to let us, the people, know the government was spying on us. It's probably treasonous behavior because he stole it from the National Security Association. But I look at him as not a traitor, but a patriot. Then you have James O'Keefe, Project Veritas. But see, they infiltrated his company because he used to go undercover and do all these crazy things, and they stole his company from him. So he had to make a new one, and he's still doing the great work. Ain't that interesting? Okay, they've all been ruined by the deep state that deemed them as a threat to their democracy. Many a dead journalist, many a dead reporter. Even Jeffrey Epstein didn't not kill himself, allegedly, because he was hiding a list and has a list of some high-profile people that may or may not be on this list. And now his associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, is doing time in prison for trafficking children to nobody. Now, we've seen a little bit of a list, some redactions that were removed, but not enough to really go after anyone or anything. And you notice when they do this stuff and they say that they're a threat to our democracy, they're not talking about our democracy. They're talking about themselves. See, we're not part of that club. George Carlin made sure in his shows to let us know that. We belong to what they call a constitutional republic. You are part of that republic for which it stands. You are part of the people. And that makes you, me, and anyone else opposition and an enemy. We become a threat. If we get out of line, we become a statistic. If we get too big for our britches. They learned that deletion causes high-profile people to become martyrs. I can name you 4 offhand, 5 that I know of for sure. You have John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X. And you also have the Lord, the Savior, Jesus. Those legacies will be very hard to erase from history, since they were deleted and beloved by so many people. They have gotten so desperate that they're now telling us, the public, that UFOs exist. Are you fucking kidding me? They've been hiding this and covering this up, but you got to wonder why they're allowing it to be out now. What kind of misinformation, disinformation, and distraction do they have going on, or that they are worried about? Do you know how many people they deleted just to keep that secret? Now imagine all these secret operations that they've been running since the 1940s and probably way before that, okay, that are being exposed and coming to light as of recently. Just look up Operation Paperclip, Operation Sunrise. That one will blow your minds. The mainstream media is dying, and they can't control all of us. Not as easily as they once did. That is why they want control of the social media platforms so bad. Okay, they had Mark Zuckerberg and the other man who owned Twitter prior to Elon taking over and giving us more of a free speech platform, which not exactly is free speech, because I was thrown off the platform, or exiled, if you will, because I made a Dr. Fauci traitor joke. And they told me I was inciting violence. I didn't incite no one to do anything. I didn't tell anyone to do anything. I think it's kind of fucked up that you took me off the platform when I was starting to grow followers 100 a day. They use these things to hide and distort our information. All right. That's why they want control of the social media platforms. There's so many numbers of truths and facts, okay, that you just have no idea that are false. They must keep us under control because, see, if they let the public continue to wake up, it'll threaten their plans for this new world order they got going on and the population control. The red pill, blue pill analogies truly apply to those who seek facts and to those who remain ignorant of the truth right in front of their faces. I was very happy, ignorant, and content living in this simulation. Watching my football, watching my baseball, watching many other sports, movies, and television.
Ignorance is bliss.
The 2015-2016 presidential race that truly woke me up from this bullshit and horseshit they were trying to feed us. When Donald Trump came down that escalator, ran on that stage and ran through these people like it was butter. They couldn't handle him. They didn't know how to handle him. A New Yorker with an attitude, good sarcastic, makes good jokes. Some bad, but he made people laugh. He made people realize that only an outsider will change what's going on for real. He exposed the lies of the mainstream media during his 2016 presidential run for the White House. He caused many narratives of the mainstream media to crumble, exposing them as fake news. I would watch them rallies on TV, then watch the mainstream media selectively cut them up, edit them, and fabricate the story to fit their narrative because they wanted people to see him as an enemy, a bad guy. Orange man bad. He became a thorn in the deep state side, exposing the whole fucking system of corruption and lies. Clinton and Obama lost their whole decorum. And the gloves came off, and it's been a street fight ever since. The fabric of the political world we knew began to unravel, showing Americans and the world what was truly behind the curtain, and it wasn't the Wizard of Oz. The more he pressed them, the more they attacked him from all sides. And this has escalated exponentially, not only after his 2 impeachments of garbage, one for Russia collusion that didn't happen, one for some so-called insurrection that he wasn't impeached for, charged for, or whatever. They've indicted him 4 times. These last 4 years, he hasn't even been in office. But the mainstream media and the deep state continues to cause a fracture, putting us on the brink of a civil war, possibly World War III if Biden continues doing what he's doing. We've got 3 wars going on right now that we are supporting, and we're supporting both sides of the fucking war except for Russia's. The matrix they had us in imploded, and they are now in desperation mode to silence him and anyone else who supports him. See, they call MAGA people extremists. They've called us Nazis. And that's an N-word I'm not putting up with because I happen to be German. You don't call Germans Nazis, especially ones that had grandfathers who were Germans that fought against the Nazis in World War II. I'm also an Irishman that had his ancestors be slaves on the railroad with the Chinese back in the day. He has to be over target. He has to be telling us all the real truth because no one would spend this much time going after somebody unless it was truthful. This is why I feel the Saturday Night Live skit with Stikki Nikki is so interesting and her comments so telling and very elusive. If Joe Biden and Donald Trump are on this November's presidential ticket, the voters would see them as dead people. Made me think really hard about that comment she made. Could mean 2 things. Number 1, it was a joke. They're old and Father Time is catching up with them. Simple jab at both men? I don't know. Number 2, this is a much more sinister thought process. See, Nikki Haley was compromised as governor of South Carolina. She gave land away to the Chinese and allowed them to come here and become business partners and said in a speech and turned around and looked at them and said, I work for you now. Look it up. It's there. She's become so compromised and entrenched in a deep state since she left the governorship of South Carolina that she's now receiving donations and support and votes by what they call the Uniparty. That means Democrats and Republicans alike. And she's getting support and money from people that don't even live in this country. Businessmen. Geez, I wonder what she's going to do with that money. Or what promises she's making. You know. Gotta wonder. My gut feelings tell me that her statement is a foreshadowing of some events that may come. And that she truly believes that they will both either be removed by accident, design, or possible assassinations and removed from the ticket. People like the Salty Cracker, who's one of my favorite and all-time coolest YouTubers. The only one to ever, reach back out to me and let me know about different microphones, different ways to screen capture things, and what cameras and possible things to use. And I thank you very much, Mr. Cracker, and your wife. Tim Pool, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, and many others like Alex Jones have pointed out that there's possible assassination attempts, or it is on the table now.
If, they protested him, they called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times, and every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't know how you can reach that conclusion.
I'm looking at the trajectory since 2015 when you got into politics, for real, and then won. It started with protests against you, massive protests, organized protests by the left, and then it move to impeachment twice.
Right.
And now indictment. I mean, the next stage is violence. Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they try and kill you, honestly?
They're savage animals. They are people that are sick, really sick.
I mean, I think they're going to demonize him, indict him, indict him, indict him, indict him. And then I think they'll blow his airplane up. I really, at a gut level, believe they're going to kill Trump.
Who's this? Trump?
I believe the deep state establishment will murder him. I mean, I believe he's going to steadfast go through all this. He'll be 30 points ahead in the primaries. Nothing's going to stop him. And then they just, he dies of a heart attack because they poison him or they blow his airplane up.
Was her statement on the show trying to use humor and satire to cover up a possible plot? I don't really know. But it would give her plausible deniability by saying it was a joke, even if it was a morbid one. If any type of situation like that were to occur, there are many potential sleeper cells walking through our southern border right now. It's not people with children. Yeah, there's some children coming across, but most of these are military-aged men, whether they're from Africa, China, or somewhere else in the lower hemisphere of this world of Spanish-speaking nations. Okay, you even have the UN bringing their stuff here. Why? They don't belong here. And we'll throw them out if they try anything stupid. Us former veterans won't take this bullshit. I promise you that. But I'm wondering why these people are coming here. Are they trying to get ready to have some sort of removal service that the deep state might need? That the establishment might try to get rid of Biden or Trump so they can place Manchurian candidates in power? You know, the puppets they need, the ones they can control, the ones they have bought, the ones that they're already in the pockets of, the ones that will not interrupt their war machine. The question now is, what assets are they going to use as a patsy to complete this early exit from presidential tickets prior to November's election? The long-term destruction of the American family, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness began well after JFK, RFK, MLK, and Malcolm X were unalived. Those great men had dreams and directions for this America, not the one that these people got today, the socialist, fascist, communist dream. Sounds very familiar, right? Doesn't it? The mainstream media now acts as if Paul Joseph Goebbels never left. His propaganda machine was never broken during the 40s because it seems like they're running it as smooth, as a V8 flying down the highway. And sometimes just as loud because they won't shut up about it. It seems like we have unelected billionaires and bureaucrats like George Soros and Klaus Schwab who got their hooks into everything and everyone. They are now calling the shots, as well as flipping the bill from the other side of the world by using the World Economic Forum as their base of operations. The Department of Justice is now weaponized like a Gestapo arm of the White House. And even Chuck Schumer said to Donald Trump in the White House that these organizations like the CIA have 6 ways from Sunday to take you down. Okay? They all use these organizations to brainwash us, the American public, and the world against one another by using political correctness, affirmative action, and implementing terms like oppression and privilege. Yeah, I'm privileged. Privileged every day to go to work, earn my money so the government can take half of it to give to foreigners and non-citizens. Just ask New York how it feels when they're giving away $53 million of their taxpayers' money to illegal immigrants. And let's ask Chicago as well, because they're giving $51 million away to those immigrants. Not the American citizens, not veterans, not the disabled, not kids that are needing it in these lower communities. That's pretty fucked up. The corporate entities need to push a global agenda, okay? And they need domination so they can implement their new world order over American patriotism. Loyalty to this country is an all-time low because that's what they're trying to do. They're having a destruction of the nuclear family, infiltrating every aspect of American culture to include our educational institutions. All I can say after these last few years is don't be scared, be prepared. Learn some of the old ways. Have backup food, learn how to grow your own, and know how to store it properly, just in case something happens. Have ways to collect and purify water, and get organized with like-minded folks in your community. And I mean in the community. That means black folks, white folks, Hispanic folks, and everyone else. Whether they got a hole or a pole, it doesn't matter. If you're like-minded, you're like-minded. You can get things done. You could be prepared. Take The Walking Dead as an example of what to do when it comes to that, because people will fight each other for food. People will kill each other. Look at COVID. People were fighting in the stores over fucking toilet paper. Remember this one thing. They can't control all of us. That's what scares the hell out of them. God will grant us justice in the end. Trust in his plan and pray for the safety of Donald Trump. And pray for your communities in which you live. And pray for this country that you love. God bless all of you. I hope you enjoyed this video and content. If so, please like, share, and subscribe, comment below, and please help my channel grow. That's all I really have for today, fans. So I'll see you next time. And as always, don't be like me. Be a menace.